So when a man sees a woman, he could be focusing on his work, he could be focusing on his career, but when he lays eye on his women, on a woman, there's a part of his brain that says this is very important. It's called the reticular activating system. It's a part of the brain that scans for either threats or whatever will provide value, right? And evolutionarily, in our whole, the history of all of humanity, to be honest with you, and all of the primates, females has been wired to be an important thing for males. As a result, when a man sees a woman, his whole brain becomes hijacked. His amygdala sends signals to his whole brain, hijacks it, and it makes him exclusively focus on the woman. His eyes dilate to take in more information about the woman. His body becomes aroused. Dopamine is released, but that dopamine is not just dopamine; it's marinated with testosterone, right? So he'll feel the sexual energy. Sexuality comes from the testosterone. The energy comes from the dopamine, right? And it'll give him a desire and the aggression to go up to her, and also the aggression usually comes because it's usually competition. So that aggression helps the guy deal with the competition, right? So a man sees a woman and his whole body reacts. It's a visceral reaction. So we're going to be talking about how the feminine body affects a man. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about how feminine adornment affects the man and affects the way that he sees you, right? Because when a man looks, where men look, and based on what a man looks at what he thinks is valuable for the most part, right? So what are valuable parts in terms of women? One, whatever provides fertility, whatever says fertility. So what a man does then, he focuses on the hourglass figure. He'll focus on the woman's face to see whether or not she's healthy, and a woman's chest, right? That's where a guy's natural eye will go to. The hips, the chest, and the face, right? But usually, I'll be honest with you guys, the guy just needs the body. And you know what I'm saying? In terms of evolutionarily speaking, a guy just wants a nice body. In terms of sex, in terms of just quick sex, right? Because what the body says is that you're fertile, right? And pretty much every man's body is trying to spread their seeds as much as possible. So a man would just need to see a pretty body for the most part. So let's talk about this natural sexuality. Natural sexuality is pretty distracting and superimposing. So you could be doing whatever you want, but if you introduce sexuality to whatever you're doing, naturally guys will just get distracted. Now, I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm not here to talk about sexism. We're just talking about evolutionary psychology. And the truth is that sexuality is distracting and superimposing. And a lot of women want to be able to dress whatever the hell they want to dress, and at the same time not be sexualized. Boo boo, you can't have your cake and eat it too. The sexuality is a primal part. In fact, it's the one thing that we're all trying to suppress in polite society. And to think that the part of us that we're trying to suppress, when you bring out them goodies, to assume that guys are not going to look, and then, which is unfortunately, some guys will inappropriately make a move. I mean, the truth, I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just saying that that's the effect that women's body have, to the point that guys start acting completely out of character, to the point where they almost get fired just for trying to get some pum pum. Women can't turn it off. You guys cannot turn it off. I bet the women that are watching this, even as kids, notice like 13, 14, when you guys started to develop, that there were dudes looking at you. Right? And you were like, what the fuck am I doing? Why are dudes looking at me? It's because you can't turn it off. Once that sexuality gets turned on, it's almost completely outside of your control, because even a woman who's pretty, that tries to look like a guy, guys will still see. There's a lot of times where I see a woman who's just trying to look ugly that day because she don't want attention. But she is so pretty that there's nothing that she could do to look ugly. Like, there is nothing that you could do. You could try your best to look as ugly as you want, and guys will still see through it. They'll still see through it. We're wired to look at beauty, right? And you got to understand that the female body pretty much targets men with high testosterone. The female body's the man's number one weakness A woman's number one target is a guy with high testosterone. Because yes, those are the masculine guys, but those are the ones that are most easily manipulated, right? So what elicits? So a man. What are the things that causes a man to react to you? Let's talk about that. By the way, if you're enjoying this type of video, you should check out my more in-depth course, which is called Natural Chemistry. It's a course that I made. It's a 5-week course specifically made for women who are in relationships and who want to master the art of a relationship, who want to understand men. Each part of this course is specifically made to improve whatever relationship you have. All right. It's a 5-week course, 30-day money back guaranteed. It's only for women who are in relationships. And this one is for women who are single. It's called the Psychological Game of Attraction. It's a course that I made that would take you through the first 3 months of a relationship. And I split it up in 3 areas: the pre-honeymoon phase, the honeymoon phase, and the post-honeymoon phase. Every single one of you guys who are talking to somebody is in one of those phases. And so it's almost like getting coached by me. Quick and straight to the point. And both courses start off at $97, and they all have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you don't like it, you could just get your money back. In fact, you could try it out for free. There's free videos if you click on the description down below where it says purchase the course. All right, let's get back to our normal program. And the reason why high testosterone is because testosterone, when a man with high testosterone, a man will amplify how beautiful a woman looks in his mind. Right, testosterone not only makes a woman look more beautiful than she is, but also it gives a man almost like an electric shock in his whole system. Now, what are the female body parts that causes that electric shock in a man? All right, 1, signs of fertility. Men value physical appearance more than women. Women find it desirable for a man to be good looking, but a man finds it absolutely important for a woman to look young and fertile. Right? Everything with men is about fertility. Men prefer women with no stretch marks or fat because it might indicate that she hasn't been pregnant. So that's why it's not. Look, guys, it's not. Look, women are like, why do guys want women who are in shape? Why don't guys accept my stretch marks? And I understand. Look, I understand. I completely understand. I get it, but also. Why do women prefer guys that are 6'3"? Why do women prefer guys who are super big celebrities? It's life. It's life. It's just life. We can't cry about it. I'm sorry. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That's what guys prefer, right? And like I said, it's because usually it just means you weren't pregnant before. And it's not the guys are superficial, but the guys are looking for a fertile woman deep down. And it comes across as superficial because fertility is a physical sign. A man with high status is not just a physical sign. A man of high status is nonverbal. A man of high status is something that's almost abstract. You can't really just tell by just looking at them. You got to see them behave. So as a result, women judge men based on their character and their resources rather than their looks. You could call that superficial also. But it's just how it is, ladies, and the men that are watching this, this is the thing. And I'm going to say this, and some of you guys might not like it. The truth is that, like, men are like things that appreciate over time. In other words, like a guy might not be valuable now, but if that guy could work hard, in 20 years, he's going to become more valuable than a woman in the 20 years. A woman is born completely valuable. She's beautiful. At 18, she looks really beautiful. 20, 25, she's super hot. She never worked for it. So she's getting all of this type of attention. A guy that same age of similar beauty will not get that type of attention. But the unfortunate part is that the drop-off is pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the celebrity attention that women get, it's pretty quick. But a guy, over time, steadily increases. Steadily. So it appreciates over time. It's at, and I'm saying this, and I know it sounds mean, some of you ladies might not like it, but it is what it is, They also go for youth because it indicates future potential for having children, right? It's not just the fact that they're looking for young women because they're pervs, but because evolutionarily, Natural selection noticed that, guys that went for younger women, usually those women had more kids, and those kids usually had kids from that dad who prefer the younger women because they have more kids now. Now those genes get to be spread out more. So that's why that preference is there, because of all of our ancestors had that preference, and that's why they survived, because it was more successful. So physical appearance gives reliable cues of fertility. Fertility in a woman naturally declines at the age of 25, right? And if you're a woman, you'll notice that the attention slowly diminishes after that, slowly after that. But as guys, the truth is, for example, me, I'm noticing women are coming up to me now. I'm not even kidding with you. And it's not because I watch your channel and buy. I remember one time there was this one girl who came up to me, like the first girl that came up to me from YouTube. She was like, "Oh my God, I watch your channel." And I was like, "Thank you. You want a picture?" She was like, "No." I'm like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay, Alexis, don't do that next time." But I'm noticing women are just paying more attention to me. Over time, I've noticed that I've gotten better looking, right? Truth is that I know women my age who actually, unfortunately, just experience the opposite. It's just life, people. I'm not here trying to make you feel bad, and I'm sorry, but you know how most coaches won't tell you this type of stuff. I will, you know what I'm saying? So men are wired to prefer younger women, and you might say, is that cultural? No, because yes, you might see a difference in culture, but it's not a statistically significant difference. Fertility in a woman, okay, young teens naturally prefer older women, right? So even if you have lesbians, right? Lesbian girls who are teenagers, right? Like a 16-year-old lesbian as an example, she'll prefer to go out with a 20-year-old lesbian, 25-year-old lesbian as an example, right? Women are wired to look for older people, right? Men, on the other hand, are not the same. Now, younger men will prefer to date a woman who's older. Like, let's just say if he's 16, that younger guy will prefer to date a woman who's 20, something like that, right? Why? Because a 20-year-old could be potentially more fertile than a girl's age, right? 13-year-old boys usually are attracted to older girls. Why? It's not because he doesn't like girls his age, but because technically speaking, they're just more fertile. An 18-year-old girl is more fertile than a 13-year-old girl. It's just how it works, right? So you'll notice that young guys prefer older women, but then after a certain age, after like the age of 20, you'll notice that guys prefer younger. After like, I don't know exactly, but you guys get what I'm saying. Young teen men prefer older women, 17 or 18, right? So young men prefer older women, but the older women don't want them back. It's not reciprocated. Younger women prefer older men. Why? Fertility for men, right? The men prefer the younger women because it means fertile, but also the women prefer the older men because it means more resources. So even a lesbian girl preferring an older woman, it's not because she just likes older women, but because even though she's lesbian, that wiring of preferring and wanting people with resources is still there. So it hijacks their lesbian mind, and it causes that young lesbian to want an older woman who could give her resources, even though she's not thinking of that. But then even with gay men, older gay men prefer younger gay men with nice curves, with nice skin, skinny, right? And it's almost like the same wiring that a straight man will want for a woman. It gets hijacked in the gay mind, and now they want a representation of a woman in a man. So they'll want like cues of fertility in a man. So for an example, if a baboon became a human, but with the same baboon brain, that baboon will want a human female with a red ass. And the baboon is like, yo, why are women's asses red? I want a woman with a red ass, right? Men who remarry usually remarry younger wives, right? So the standard because that's just, how people are. And that's usually in most cultures. Because this is the thing, is that a man who does not do that will not pass on his genes. It's just that simple. The men who didn't do that weren't successful. And that's why most men are like that. Because they're the descendants of the men who prefer that. Right? So good skin shows youth, and lesbians, babies are wired also to look at and play with more attractive people who are young and more symmetric. Even babies know the truth. Bad symmetry is a sign of bad genes and possible disease or age or some genetic mutation. And as a result, that's why we prefer symmetric faces, because it's an indication of a good immune system. The heterosexual men, as people might have guessed, responded to different parts of the brain to women, most notably the amygdala, an almond-shaped part of the brain involved in emotion and emotional behavior. Like a guy would just go nuts, and women don't understand why guys look, man. When a woman enters a room, men look. And men are wired to look. Literally, men are literally wired to look. And for example, if you give 100 guys a bet, and the bet is this: you're gonna walk around the city for a whole year, 10 minutes a day. There's gonna be some women with some nice tiggle bitties, right? Cleavage. Your job is to not look. If you don't look, you get $1 million. If you look, you get shot in the head. I promise you, every single guy, no matter straight or gay, will get shot in the head. They'll get shot in the head. First day, first minute. Because men are wired. Men are literally wired to look at titties. They're wired. Like it's not even, it's to the point that people have to tell people not to do that. They're wired to do that. And women resent males, the nature of men. And you guys have to stop doing that, you know? That's just, I'm not excusing sexism or, women getting hurt, but I'm just explaining why guys are like that, you know? So how do you use your body to get that type of effect from a man? Well, one, a fashion statement, right? Women use their bodies as a fashion statement, where they don't wear bras, as an example, right? Or they wear short shorts that show off their bodies, right? They use their bodies as a fashion statement. Guys don't use their bodies in that regard. Wearing adornments, which we're going to talk about tomorrow, right? But also, women have certain times of the year or month when they dress more provocatively, right? For example, when a woman is most fertile, that's when women dress up in more, I was going to get skinky clothing. That's when women dress in more provocative ways. Unconsciously also. They're not even aware that they're dressing that way. It's because there's a part of your brain there's a part of the woman's brain that controls her more than she believes. You know what I'm saying? Like, people think we're rational creatures. The truth is that our rational thoughts are guided by emotions. In other words, when we receive a stimulus, the hippocampus first sends a signal to the amygdala. First, to scan whether the stimulus we have observed is a threat or not. Once the brain realizes that what we're seeing is not a threat, then the signal is relayed. There's a longer wire because there's two wires that go from the amygdala to the hippocampus, and that wire is a little bit smaller. So that's why it's quicker, right? But then the wire for the amygdala to the cortex is longer, so that takes a little bit longer. So you first process threat, and then once the amygdala gets a signal, then the cortex gets it, and then we process what we're seeing, right? But the first thing is that we first realize if it's a threat or not, and if what we're seeing is valuable, the brain releases little bits of dopamine, which then tells you what to focus on, right? So if it's seeing something that's valuable, the brain will say, "Ooh, this is valuable," the amygdala, and then it'll tell the cortex, "Hey, pay attention to that a little bit more than that." And naturally, the brain will just focus on a certain part that provides more value and diminishes the other part. That's what emotions do, right? Without you even noticing, what you're perceiving is not because you're rational, but because your brain is saying, "Notice that a little bit more." And you're thinking you're all rational, but in reality, your body telling you what to do without you even noticing. So your brain is saying, "Ooh, I'm fertile today. Ooh, what should I do? How should I make Melissa dress up sexy?" Right? And so Melissa will say, "I want to wear those I want to wear those short shorts today." Right? And all of a sudden you just have this urge for short shorts. Why? Because you're just more fertile. An example is kind of like when your body needs sugar and all of a sudden you just want a fucking chocolate. Why do you want a chocolate? How does the brain know what a chocolate is? Right? It's because it's the hormones are saying we need some sugar. And your brain has said that my favorite sugary thing is a chocolate. And so the brain would then say, "Okay, let's give him an image of a chocolate." And then you'll want the chocolate, right? The same thing. Deep down, you feel there's a certain part of you that says, "Oh my God, I really want to meet a guy." You may not notice it, but you kind of notice it if you're aware that you just want to wear a little bit more loose clothing. You get what I'm trying to say? So dressing in revealing clothes promotes more men to approach you. And studies have shown this, that women who dress in more revealing clothes get approached more. And also studies have shown also that bigger boobs gives more tips, right? Show them tits, get them tips, right? Oh, the Lexi, you should trademark that. That's nice, right? So, and why? Because men just give more money when they see titties. That's just how it works. It's like we're wired to throw money at boobs, right? So it's kind of like showing your body gets more compliance from men. Showing your body gets men to do more things for you, give you more favors, right? And I've noticed that with me. Like I've been on dates, and lately a lot of times I'm friend zoning them. And if sounds fucked up, man, but having women that like me in my life, it's like having a friend who's willing to go the extra mile for you. I'm like, man, I notice why women friend zone other men. It's like you have somebody who you. Anyways, so yeah, that's one thing, is that it lowers a man's defenses, right? The feminine body. It makes men more competitive in the presence of other women. So if a man brings his girl to a basketball game, I can promise you that man is not passing the ball. He's not going to pass the ball because he's going to have that my girlfriend's watching game, and he's going to want to impress her, right? So when the other women are around, a man will want to impress the women. But also, men who get publicly humiliated in front of women, and they tend to be a little narcissistic, psychopathic, or have any form of mental illness, not any form, but you know what I'm saying, those types of men tend to become violent. So getting embarrassed in front of other women promotes violence in men for the most part. So not only it makes them more aggressive, it makes them more competitive, but also it lowers their defenses. And a lot of times, a lot of traps, like in third world countries, are made with women, right? For example, they'll have a woman in the middle of the road act like she's been hurt. The guy will come out of the car, and then when he approaches the woman, he'll have 3 or 4 guns pointing at him from behind, right? And so that's done because women naturally just lower men's defenses, because it's been throughout history, women's defenses go up in front of men because women have been assaulted by men historically. And women who are not afraid of men usually got killed, i.e. a lot of escorts, prostitutes, right? They sort of get themselves in situations with men, and a lot of them get killed, which is the most dangerous job in the world, to be honest with you. And so as a result, women who are not afraid of men don't pass on their genes. You see what I'm saying? So naturally, men are not afraid of women because the men who were afraid of women never had kids. So as a result, men are easy targets to almost use a woman's body to manipulate them. So they make them more competitive. So if you have a woman also at a gambling place, having women around makes the men bet more, You know how they have the women around the guy that's winning? I can promise you that makes the guy bet more, right? And also having other women at a club and bar promotes men to spend more money. And that just has been historically shown. So women's presence makes men spend more money, makes men give more money to charity, makes men become more competitive, work harder, right? And you might even say that's positive in a work setting, right? And that's kind of true. I don't know to what point, but I do know that when you have a woman at work, guys will actually become a little bit more competitive. Literally the testosterone. They'll have more testosterone. Men who are surrounded by more women have higher testosterone because their bodies are reacting to their femininity. But also it creates distraction as well. Like a guy will see a woman and he'll just like women don't like this, but it's just the truth. Women's bodies are distracting. I mean, I don't understand why some women get mad at that, because it's kind of like they love the fact that they're beautiful. What the fuck do you mean beautiful? What does that even mean? That when you walk in a fucking room, men will look at you. You're so beautiful that guys cannot stop looking at you. That's what that fucking means. Like, it just makes me so mad how these women, they want their cake and eat it too. It's kind of like, oh, I want to be beautiful, but I want to be, but also I hate that guys pay attention to me all the time. I'm like, bitch, you have no choice. You either are beautiful and you get unwanted attention, or you're not beautiful and you don't get any attention at all for the most part. It's just, you can't have everything. You can't just pick and choose. You see what I'm saying? So it leads more violence also. Being a beautiful woman or just having a feminine body leads to more violence. Making fun of men in front of women is bad, but test causes more aggression than usual. This means more competition. It causes also false feedback in women, where women think that they're charming when in reality they're just good looking. And men are just smiling at them more than they really, like, more than their actions are causing them to smile. Men smile a lot more around beautiful women. And so women will have this delusion that they're really, I hate to say these women, okay? I really do. But a lot of women think they're really charming when in reality they're just good looking. And it gets that type of reaction. You're funnier, you're more wittier. People will say you're smarter. People will want to be around you. And you get this false feedback that you think that just being you gets attention. But then you notice as you get older, you being you is not enough. And you never developed real social skills because you were getting this false feedback. And you know how some people think they're funny, but they're not? You ever wonder why they think they're funny? It's because they've gotten false feedback. Oh, these unfunny fucks laugh at his unfunny jokes, and now he thinks he's funny. Now we got to suffer through it. It's false feedback, you know? It increases interest in conversation. I've had women who I didn't like, but because they were attractive, I liked hanging out with them. Like, it's true. Attractive women are just easier to hang around with, right? In fact, if you're with somebody and you don't want to talk to them, in your mind, tell yourself they're attractive. They're really attractive. And you notice you actually become more engaged. If you tell yourself they're really attractive, you just notice you become more interested in them, right? Being attracted to people naturally makes you interested in them, and it makes the conversation go smoother. Increases interest in you, over-sexualizes you to the point of failure, right? The feminine body over-sexualizes women to the point where it actually becomes a hindrance. One more violence or two, right? So being a beautiful woman causes a lot of times sexual violence where men would touch you unnecessarily. It causes more sexual coercion where you're so attractive that your boss wants to be with you, or like people will take more risk just to be with you. And it causes you also a loss of reputation where you're so attractive, like people just talk about you. And it's very hard for people to see you for who you are, because you're just attractive. It's a power that women have. And it's a power, unfortunately, that they kind of power trip, right? And that power trip comes in the arrogance that some women develop. Not all of them, but some women do develop a certain arrogance because that's a power that it was unwarranted. They never did nothing for it. It sounds like I'm hating on women. I'm not hating on women, man. I'm just like, it's just that the feminine body has such a powerful effect on men that women just don't understand. A lot of women, like they just get mad at male nature, and it's kind of like, no, it's like we're not being dicks. It's not that we can't control yourself, but put yourself in a man's position and imagine that a perfect example of how a woman's body affects a man. Imagine that you are really hungry and you see a bottle and you see a plate of pasta walk through you. You don't think you're gonna fucking react? Now, you're gonna feel an urge to fucking run and take that food. Won't you? You're not gonna do it, but you're gonna feel the urge, right? Yeah, right. You're gonna feel your stomach churn, right? That stomach churning for guys is their dicks getting hard, right? That hunger is a desire to bang them. That desire to take the food and eat it is a desire to touch them, but you just don't do it. That's the difference. You know what I'm saying? So that's an example of how guys see women, right? And you're objectifying the motherfuckers who are all objects. All right, calm the fuck down with your morality. I hate that shit. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry about the I haven't made videos. I just been in school. I started school, so I'm not gonna make as many videos anymore because I'm in class. But please let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below, and if you guys want to work with me one-on-one, click on the description down below where it says "Work with me one-on-one," or else I'm closing this channel. Okay, take care. All right, ladies. So finally, I have released my second course for women, which is natural chemistry. This course is a 5-week course. 5-week course where every week you're going to get a new set of videos
based on specific issues. This course is all about how to create and maintain the attraction in any man. This will help you create love. This will help you deepen the love with your man. This is not about manipulation. This is not about playing games. This is genuine, natural chemistry. No more short-term partners. No more being fooled. Why? Because I will reveal to you not only how to create attraction in the first week, but also how to understand male nature, how to understand their tricks, how to prevent from being too attached, signs that he's the wrong guy, signs that he's a narcissist, signs that he's a mama's boy, signs that he's an emotionally available guy, emotionally unavailable guy. We go over everything. We go over this third week, setting boundaries. We go over the third week, controlling your emotions, right? Setting boundaries, fourth week. Fifth week, embracing your masculine and the feminine, right? And on top of that, I have over 10 different bonuses. 10 different bonuses, my Lord have mercy, right? With a money back guarantee. The bonus are 1, the natural chemistry, over 10 hours of content, right? The breakup formula, how to deal with a breakup, right? The connecting with your man, right? Establishing a life of abundance, social mastery, understanding your dark side, the goal setting seminar, which is about how to set and achieve goals, practical mastery that will teach you how to master anything, the laws of human nature. I have a book club for the laws of human nature with over 4 hours of content, right? The transformational seminar in a pocket, which is my mindfulness seminar, and the Chase audiobook. This originally is $1,800, but you get it starting at $97, ladies and gentlemen, right? $97. We have different packages, but all of this starts at $97. And you know what? You can check it out for free if you want. Yeah, for all the freeloaders, I have free videos just for you. Free videos, all right? So you could just check it out for free, and then you could get out. Nothing wrong with that, all right? So, and on top of that, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. No questions asked. That's right. No questions asked. I don't mind. I just want you guys to check it out because I know when you take one look, you're going to want to buy it. I can promise you. Just like my other course, the psychological game of attraction, it was a hit. You're going to love this one. This one is not about manipulation. This is genuine natural chemistry. Order it now, all right? I'll see you guys inside. Peace out.